Hey, this is Luke Symes with Salt Strong. In this video, we're gonna cover how to go out and just easily catch inshore fish from a bigger boat that doesn't have a trolling motor. In this case, we actually do have a trolling motor, but we're not gonna use it. I've had the question come in about, hey, I've got a 23, 24 foot deep V boat for going offshore, but I wanna try inshore. Is it even possible? And so the answer is yes. The answer is yes, it's definitely possible. You're of course not gonna be getting up in the super shallow water, sight fishing redfish, but you can implement this strategy to go out and catch a bunch of fish. It's very effective. You can catch a ton of fish, a lot of variety of fish as well, which is fun. Trout will be the number one thing, plus there'll be ladyfish jacks, Spanish mackerel, really a variety of species. And what we're doing is we're simply gonna be trolling paddle tails. This is the Slam Shady paddle tail on a jig head, and we're trolling it on the edges of the channels. And whether you're pushing up against seagrass, in this case, we're fishing the edge of the channels where there's some seagrass. If you're in an area that doesn't have seagrass, find a spot that has some oysters near the edge, and that way you can just troll right down the edge, and there's gonna be a multitude of species you can catch, and we'll just show you how it's done. And as far as doing this in a bay boat, you really have two options. Number one, you can drift. You can use the wind to drift. In this case, this is very low wind day. You can see there's just a real fog, a serious fog going on this morning. The wind is just starting to barely move, but if we weren't in a good spot, if we didn't know where the fish were, with this wind being so light, we wouldn't drift far. We wouldn't be able to cover ground at all. So option two is trolling. Trolling, now we're in control of the movement. We can just use the big motor. It's surprising how effective it is, even in shallow water. You can troll with your big motor down and troll paddle tails along the edge, and you can catch an absolute ton of fish. And then once I find the pockets of fish, that's when we then can drift. We can do that very, very slow drift with the wind and then really cover that area. But right now, I haven't been out here in a few weeks, so I'm not sure exactly where those fish are, and so we're gonna have to opt for the troll. And the good news is it's super easy, right? Just get the boat in motion. I still have it on, and I just need to align myself with the edge. And in this case, I'm having to use the GPS to find the edge, and I'm gonna line it right with the edge. And then I'm just gonna cast this lure out and then hold it. This is a great way to take kids out, to get somebody catching fish that really hasn't fished before, and even if they're not a good caster, you can even hand it to a 2 or 3 year old and have them catch their first fish. It is a lot of fun, and again, very, very easy to do. And we just gotta make sure that we don't go too shallow, but we also don't wanna go away from the structure. We really need to have that structure. So I'm seeing, looks like we're right on the edge now. So what I do is as I'm going, right, just toss it out there, about a cast worth, and then just make sure you're feeling it, and then it's not just dragging on the bottom. Oh, yeah, that's good. And then once we start going, I'm just doing a slow little jig and then really just hold it. And there we are. Now we're just, now the goal is just to hold it. Again, hand it to a 2 or 3 year old, let them hold it. And now my goal as far as the driver is just to make sure that I follow the contour of this channel. And so I can just see that, I can see a little bit of grass, a little patchy grass right there. That is exactly what I want to find. And so we're just going to go and let this paddle tail do the work, and just cover ground. And then again, we're just going to kind of zigzag. Right now I'm in about 3 feet of water, so I'll go off and try to find a little bit deeper water, and just kind of zigzag, go deeper, shallower, until we locate the most fish. And so jigging does help. You can see I'm just kind of doing a slight little jig with this paddle tail, or you can even just hold it straight. It seems like I definitely feel like you get more strikes when I'm doing a slight little jig. All right, so I'm going over to another little bank, and I'm gonna switch sides. So the shallow edge was over on on my right, your left, and so now it's gonna be over on the left. So what I like to do is I like to have the rod pointed towards the side with the shallows. So what I'm gonna do is just do a little 180 and move it out on this side, and now I can buzz this side of the channel. So again, it's just smart to just like normal if you're casting, it's just to cover ground, and you want to get that lure right next to those depth changes, and this is the best way to do it. All right, so every once in a while, smart just to check the lure, just to make sure that there's no grass on it. It feels okay, but we're crossing the channel. In the middle, there's much less likelihood of catching fish. So now we're going to check it. All looks good, ready to rock. Will this guy go back out there? Again, long cast, let a little bit of line go out. And I'm going through a lot of grass right there, a lot of floating grass. So now I need to be extra careful and make sure that I can feel this paddle tail getting through that grass. Because just if I just barely look at that rod, at the tip of the rod, you can see that, I can see it and I can feel it. Oh, there, I just hit some grass. I feel like it shook it off. Nice little jig. And now, see, now I don't feel that. So what happened is I just snagged some grass. So as soon as you snag grass, you gotta clear it. And after a while, you'll feel how much tension is on the line when you don't have anything on it. And then as soon as it just fell off. As soon as you feel that grass, the big chunk of it just fell off. I still have a little bit, but again, after a while, you'll be able to feel it. Even when you just have a slight little grass chunk, you'll feel it, and then you can just clear the line. All right, so back in business. We're getting close to the good spot, or at least what should be a good spot. We have a point that underwater point that shoots out into the channel. Again, just seeing this from the contour map. Yeah, so right now it's 6.5 feet deep. So when it's deep, I'll let a little bit more line out, and I'll keep my rod tip down. So I'll keep the rod tip down. That helps just the lure get down a little bit closer to the bottom. So we want the lure to be as close to the bottom as possible without getting snagged. And so now it is down there, and we're getting close to this point. So we're just gonna go just buzz right off the tip of it. Oh, there we are. So got a fish. So I was just had it going down, saw this boat out there. And this is not a very big fish, but it's fighting good. That guy's actually buzzing, right? Guy's buzzing pretty close to where I was reeling. Let's see what we have. You can take kids out doing this. It is very rare where it doesn't work. We were doing this for maybe 10 minutes or so. Found a bank that is holding some fish, and we'll keep buzzing a little bit and see what happens. Oh, mackerel, nice mackerel. So again, a good way to even catch some dinner. This is a solid mackerel for inshore. As a kid, this was one of my favorites. So you see it just came up and just smacked that paddle tail. Cool looking fish. These are tasty as well. Got some teeth in them. And a lot of fun. So, and usually when there's one, there's gonna be a lot more. And so now this paddle tail is still in good action. Those things have some teeth, but it never touched the line. So we'll cast this guy out and see if we can't get some more. All right, so we are about lined up. This channel is pretty much going this way. So I'm gonna cast a little bit behind the boat over there. We're just gonna let it just slowly take the lure across. And by the time we line up, it's gonna be going straight down the edge of the channel. Speed it up a little bit. During the turn, speed up a hair. Oh, there we are, got another one. So that one just jumped back there. It's either a trout or ladyfish this time. But yeah, that was just maybe a minute later. So found a little pocket of fish. And if we really wanted to catch a bunch of them, we could do some drifting and casting, but this trolling is actually pretty fun. Oh, yeah, that was ladyfish. So ladyfish just jumped off. Boat's still on. And just gotta clear the line. Let's make sure that the bait's looking good. Back in business. Reline with the channel. Again, it's all about just going right down the channel line. You're gonna really maximize your results when you go down that channel line. Right now, we're just over the shallow end. It's probably about 2.5, 3 feet of water right now. And where the bite's been happening, this is very important, is to focus on the depth. The bite's been in about 4 feet of water. Obviously, every day changes a little bit. We're getting back deeper. We go ahead and cast out. Now we're back in that 4 feet of water. And we're just keep going. And on my GPS, I can see when I make a turn, I can see where I've caught the fish. Oh, I just had a hit. I can see where I've caught my fish. And then for drifting, I had another hit. And for when I want to drift, if I do want to drift later, I can then just target those spots where I had those zigzags on the path. Yeah, and one tip for doing this is the speed. A question I've had is hey, what speed do you go on? And I basically go from just the lowest idle, so like a very slow idle, to just like a couple little taps forward. You don't want to be just totally cranking over the flat on the plane or anything, but you also want to make sure that you're not going so slow that the lure is just getting stuck on the bottom and dragging. You want it to be elevated from the bottom, especially if you're fishing areas like this where there's seagrass and structure down there, because if you go too slow, you're going to be getting snagged. It'll be a mess. and you know, the faster you go, the more water you can cover. So on days like this, where it's really about just finding this fish, we can just cover more water more quickly, and that'll almost always result in catching more fish. So we're just still cruising down this bank. I'm going from about 3 feet of water to about 5, and this has been the depth zone where most of the action's been happening. So I'm just going to hold this line, and again, always try to be mindful of exactly where that lure is. Oh, there we are, got one. Yeah, and this is a lot of fun. Even these small fish, this is why it's so much fun for kids. Even these, oh, it just came off. That felt like a trout. Even those small fish really pull hard because they basically do a slight turn and now they're fighting the boat, and every fish feels like it's about 2 times its size. So let's see if we can get another one. Oh. See if we can get a hook in him. Oh, I missed another one. Oh, no, he's on. I think this is a small one. Oh, there he's feeling bigger. He must have been swimming toward the boat. Nah, a little, so we got a trout now. Oh, that bird's coming after him. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, so this little bitty trout, this thing was actually pulling out drag for a second. Just because that boat was coming up against it. My hand wet to handle him. This boat was pulling up against it, and this little guy felt like he was like a 6-pounder. Just because of that trolling method. So that's why, again, I really recommend this for, you know, taking out some people who don't fish all the time. You can cast for them. Whoa. Oh, that bird's gonna try to get it. Too late. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, so this little jig, right? You can catch a little bit of everything. Just troll it behind the boat, and it's just a lot of fun. It's super easy to do, and you can do it whether or not you have a fancy boat for fishing up in the shallows. So again, just doing this strategy, you can do it on any size boat. And just be mindful, obviously, if you're in a deeper boat, you want to make sure that you never get too shallow where the motor's touching the grass. But it's all about just covering ground, and this trolling method with the paddle tail is one of the easiest and most effective ways to go out and just consistently catch a good amount of fish. We were out here for maybe 20 minutes doing this. We landed, I guess, 3 different species. We had multiple hits that we missed, and if we really wanted to go catch more, we could go retarget those zones that we had the most strikes in, and just drift. You know, we can now, with this wind being so light, we can do a slow drift through there and just have an absolute blast. And as far as equipment goes, it doesn't require anything super fancy. So this is just a light setup. This is kind of my all-purpose inshore rod, which is a 7/6 rod. Has just 2,000 to 3,000 size spinning reel with 10-pound braid. I'm using a 30-pound just mono leader. For when those mackerel come up into the equation, you need to have a little bit more power. Otherwise, 20 pounds is plenty. And then a 1/4 ounce jig head with the Slam Shady paddle tail. This has been deadly, and I'll put the specs and all the exact gear if you're interested in that. I'll put that down below. But just wanted to give this tip. If you have any questions at all, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best fishing club in America because we actually guarantee that you'll catch more fish while saving money on all the tackle you need. We do this through premium education, our exclusive insider community, and huge discounts on the best tackle for saltwater anglers. To learn more, go to saltstrong.com. Otherwise, hope to see you again soon.